Good morning, everyone. We will begin in exactly 2 minutes. Look forward to talking to you soon. Okay, everyone, let's get started this morning. I'm seeing several of you announcing the fact that you're here. We'll try to catch up with that. We have James from Pascagoula, Mississippi, Pete from the UK. We have, let's see, who else do we have here? We have Sam from up the road in Tennessee. And we have Jay Lynch. Who else do we have? Announce yourself so I can greet you and let you know how much we appreciate you being here. We have Jean from Northern Illinois, and we have Vanessa from Australia. It is late at night where you are, but good to have you on. Always glad to have our Australian folks on and joining us. And Lisa from LA. And let's see, who else do we have? Jan from Belgium, and Jern Berry, and Carol from PA, and James from Coventry, UK, Dana from Northern New Hampshire, Martin from South Carolina. Let's see if I missed anybody. I don't think I've missed anybody. I think I got everybody there. And so that has said so far. And then we have Teresa from Asheville, North Carolina. And I'm coming to you from beautiful downtown Huntsville, Alabama, where we're having the most gorgeous morning I have ever seen in the fall. Just a beautiful day. But very concerned about my friends everywhere. Hey, Tyree, how are you? It's good to have you on. I know, been concerned about my folks in Houston, Tyree being one of them, a whole bunch of other friends and family and loved ones that I have in Houston. Been very concerned about how they're doing. So it's good to have you. Good to see you, Tyree. Hope things are going well for you as well. There's Gloria. Good morning, Gloria. Good to have you on. Always good to have Gloria with us. I will tell you, as we're getting ready to start here this morning, I have caught a cold and I feel like my face is falling off. So we might have a few interruptions to this morning's webinar. I'll do my best to not let that interfere with anything that we have going on. And then we have Al from Chattanooga, Tennessee, over one of my favorite places on the planet. And far east Tennessee is just gorgeous country over there. And so good. And there's Carol from Corpus Christi, Texas. So good to have you all on with us today. We have a nice crowd today, and we're going to have an interesting agenda today. I was not able to do an interview this week. I had planned to interview somebody, and we just could not make connection. I had a whole day, I had almost a 20-hour period of time there where I did not have an internet connection here, and so I was going to go someplace else, got this massive thing in my head, and wasn't able to do that. So we don't have a guest feature today, but we will next week, and I'll be talking about that in just a moment. Good morning, Ken. Good to have you on from Chicago. So, anyone else want to announce themselves before we get started? All right, we will jump in here. Let's talk just a minute about our weekly training. I thought it'd be nice to have a little picture of calm water today as we, as many of our friends buckle down around the country, preparing for what's about to happen across the state of Florida. We probably don't have our Florida contingent in today, and I certainly understand that. And I just want my folks to be safe wherever you are, whatever is going on with you. It's my heart's desire and prayer that you're safe where you are. My son has been battling the forest fires up in Idaho, and that's a part of the country we don't talk about because I don't know, we just don't talk about it. But we have reasons to be concerned, but we have important things to do today on this webinar. We're not going to let those sidetrack us. And as Gloria has said, make sure if you have a question that you precede the question with 3 Qs or 3 question marks, so we'll be able to identify that. This platform, which by the way, I just love the way this platform has worked for us, does not have that question button. And so we're just asking you if you would proceed your question with some Qs or some question marks so that we can easily identify that. Gloria and I want to do the best job that we possibly can to make sure that we address your questions, and we do not want those to get left behind. We want this to be a very interactive, some Q&A stuff going on here. This is not, we can't do support for you here, but we can answer those questions that you might have having to do with editing or marketing or that kind of a thing. And so we really want to help you. And the easiest way I know to do that is that we can identify your questions. And if you use that, just remember to use the multiple Q or multiple question mark as you start. It will be very, very helpful. And Gloria just posted the support email address there. We have a very active support team, and they do a great job of addressing people's questions and concerns. But this training seminar is for the purpose of helping you to develop skills, introduce new stuff, all of those kinds of things. Support is for those technical issues that you may run into. And so with that in mind, let's make sure that we keep this on a very positive note. We want to make this a great experience for everybody that's here, and we want to do our best to make sure that when we're done, we've had a positive, encouraging experience. Okay? And with that being said, are we ready to go? Let me know if you're ready to get into this morning's training. Just curious to hear from you today. So, all right, then let's do this. The first thing I want to talk about is the guest feature. And I've been talking about this for a couple of months now, and I think it's really important that we have this guest feature. I like to be able to highlight the things that people are doing and let you see their work and see what they do and how they are using Usign or GIFsign, because I think that's important that you see other people's stuff, and it's a good opportunity for you to be able to feature and showcase the work that you do. And then at the end, I give you a video of the interview. And so if you know somebody that you would like to nominate and would like to hear from them, I would encourage you to let me know, let them know, drop it in the group, do the things that you know how to do, and make it possible for us to be able to get them on. I was going to try to have Joanne on, and that just didn't work. She was finishing up her traveling. We had a short week here, just lots of stuff like that took place that made it hard this week. Next week, I already have lined up Marcellus. Marcellus did a little video. Hey, Dave. Yeah, be safe. Just be safe, my friend. That's all we're asking you for, is to be safe wherever you are. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. Just want you to be safe. That's the important thing. So we'll have Marcellus next week. Marcellus made an amazing video here on how to use how to make a thumbnail with Usign, and we've talked about that a few times. So it's really kind of cool to be able to do that. And I like to feature people because we have a great community. We have a great community. We give you some hit tips and tricks and introduce new stuff here on this webinar, but you all are what's making it happen. And a lot of the ideas for the things that we do come from our community, and so we want to be able to highlight that. Marcellus will be next week. And given if everything works as intended, Marcellus will be our guest next week. So Rose actually was our person, Rose, who writes our blog posts for us and does a whole lot of other amazing things, is the person who encouraged Marcellus to be a part of this. And so we're going to do that. We've also had, Gene has given us several things. And he had a great little interview with Gene. Then Herman dropped this note in last week at about the time that we were going live with the webinar, and so that was encouraging. I liked hearing that. Joanna promised that she would be on, but we were not able to make connection this week. But we will, and you'll get a chance to hear from Joanna, and you'll get a chance to see what she does and how she uses Usign. I'm looking forward to that. Stephanie, which I used some of her work last week and talked about some of the prints that she had made in promoting her mother's card work at the event when they were getting ready to do the, it was, let's see, what was it? It was the Eclipse, and they were doing a craft fair at the Eclipse, and she has some gorgeous looking print work that we featured last week and talked about that. Somebody's asking if you can't hear me. You're not going to see me. I'm just going to show you the screen. But if you can't hear, this isn't going to help. But Gloria, can you tell him to refresh? I don't think anybody else is having a problem because you're responding. So, but let Ken know that if he just hits the refresh button, it should fix the problem. But Stephanie wrote a nice little note about how important it is and how cool it is. And Gloria was on one time. We had an interview with Gloria, which was pretty amazing and kind of fun to see. I have the ability to be able to play her. She gave me a little 2-minute video of some of her work. She gave me a little video, and I have the ability to be able to play that while we're introducing here. I just haven't exactly figured out how to do that yet. So we're going to try to get that done and see if that will help. There's Stephanie. Good to see you this morning, too. We were just talking about you just a little bit, Stephanie, and the note that you dropped in here about how easy it is to do those power user interviews. So cool. This is Rose, and we don't talk about we talk about Gloria a lot. Rose does a ton of stuff that ends up showing up in the community, and she does great stuff. And this is just if you're in the GIF designers community, you'll see this little GIF that she did. And the reason why I have this here is because if you're not checking that out, if you don't have the notifications turned on, turn them on. But if you have the notifications turned on and you're ignoring them, there's some really cool keys that you get when you pay attention to the things that get posted in both of the communities, Usigners and GIF signers communities. And what Rose did here is she gave the details as to how she created a mock-up in Usign and used it in GIFsign or GIFsign. And that, I think that's just really cool. We've talked about that a couple of times. She did that back in August, and we've actually had that as something that we featured last week as we talked about the how to use overlays with videos and with GIFs. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And then I was looking back over, as I do every week, looking back over the things I saw in the group and ran across this. And I thought, here's the reason why you need to pay careful attention to what goes on in the community, because you get great ideas. And great ideas are extremely important. Y'all have told me there's two things that you're looking for. One is you're looking for the way to edit, to be able to use the editing tools, and we'll talk about that a lot today. You also want to know how to market the skills and abilities that you have, and we work on developing those skills so that you might actually take those and market your goods and services to a world that desperately needs the visual marketplace. And so this was a good example of that, and just wanted to share that with you. Now, GIF sign update, and I have looked. I don't know exactly when this came out because my internet was down for a day, so I didn't see it. The last time I was in, I didn't see it, which was earlier in the week. And so this morning, I rapidly downloaded the new version of GIF sign and uploaded it, and we're now at version 1.0.16. And a couple of new things, a little bug that got fixed with the YouTube video upload, which some people had said that was an issue, and so that has been taken care of. They added the ability to be able to upload JPEG files, which is kind of cool. And we'll be doing more with that in the future. And as we have a little bit of time, I'm going to develop some training centered around some of the cool things that they've done there. Just wanted to remind you about the mock-ups, because the way that the mock-ups get delivered is that the mock-ups are delivered in the updates. So if you're not seeing mock-ups, then it's because you don't have the right update. And if you'll notice up there at the very top where my picture's at, if you look right there, that little bell, when you see that bell and it has a red dot on it, that red dot tells you that it's time to upgrade. You can also go to your GIF sign platform and be able to see what's there. And that's where I took this image from right here, was from the GIF sign platform, to remind them. Always make sure that you uninstall the previous version of GIF sign before you install the new version, because it will always pull the old version if you don't uninstall it or delete it from your applications folder, which is what we do on the Mac. Okay, so make sure that you do that. That way you've done the right thing, and when you do the download works, and you step through the process. That was a little bit clunky at the beginning, and it's a very smooth process now that people, and thank you, Gloria, for reminding me, now that we make sure that we download that, or make sure that we uninstall it before we download it. So we have the mock-ups. And then I did this. This was when we talk about GIF sign, and I'm just going to mention this here. I probably won't spend a lot of time on it today, but somebody said, wouldn't it be cool? I actually took a GIF and I pulled it in to edit it. And somebody said, well, what could you do with that? And I said, I'm not really sure what I would do with it. And then somebody posted, and I don't remember who it was, and I would like to Charles, if you have a GIF sign account, then there is you have a user's platform, and that's where you download that from. Okay, if that's the question that you're asking. So yes, so what I did was I took that GIF that Gloria had posted when version 1.0.5 came out, 0.15 came out, and because I thought it was really cool, and I took that and I put a little chat bubble at the top and this little emoji to kind of show how cool that was. So that was, I just thought that was kind of a cool thing to do, and I'm going to show you when we get to the design canvas in Usign how I created that. Something that we've talked about quite a bit, but I think we need to continue to do that. All right. The next thing, I want to talk about the Template Club a little bit, and I want to do this for a reason. If you are a member of the Template Club, and I remind you of this almost every week, and I do it on purpose because I want you to see that from a editing standpoint, this is not necessarily an editing tool. I'm going to show you something that we can do with it in just a minute, but it's also a great marketing concept. And I'm going to give you something which I'm going to call, we're up to 3,130 templates now. If you'll notice, the 4 templates across the top there all are responses to things that are going on right now in the world. And our template team is really good about doing that. They try to be very, very responsive to stuff that's going on, holidays, other events that might take place, and giving you the tools that you need to help you to be able to market your skills and services. Does that make good sense? Tell me if you understand the value that that brings to you, because I can't think of anything that is better for what you do than that right there, is that you've got new stuff, and then I'm going to show you the next step. But tell me, do you like the fact that this template amount's growing rapidly and they're very responsive to the stuff that's going on? Is that helpful? Yeah, we're getting some positive response to that. And that's good. I think that's really important. Now, I'm going to do something. I'm going to introduce this, and I'm going to do this for a couple of weeks, okay? And I'm calling it templateology. I made it up, but it's templateology. And I'm going to show you that sometimes in this template club, if you're not there, you say, well, I can make my own templates. I don't have to worry about that. It's good, all that. That's cool. But sometimes hidden in the templates are some gold mines. And so I'm going to show you those gold mines over the next couple of weeks, and we're going to call that templateology. Okay. And when we get to the design canvas, I'm going to show you how valuable these tools can actually be to you. And a little study I'm calling templateology. Okay. Then we're going to talk about editing tools. I'm going to show you how I created that little, that's it right there. That's how I created that overlay for the GIF that you saw back here. And very simple, very easy to do, something that's important for us to have, and a very important skill to have, and something that can be very beneficial in marketing your services to other people. And then I'm going to show you a couple of other little tools, like the text tool. For some reason, this question comes up frequently, and Gene reminded us that the profile pictures on Facebook are going to be able to be in a circle, and so having curved text is going to be really important. And people were really excited about the possibility of having curved text. Now that we have it, there's probably as many questions come up about curved text as about anything else. And so we'll talk about curved text. And for some reason, the question about text tools comes up all the time, and it always comes up at the tail end of the webinar. So today I'm going to spend just a little bit of time with it at the beginning of the webinar, so that we not get ourselves to the point where we run out of time, because I want to make sure that we address the questions that come up and we address the other things. But I want to talk about the text tools and how that editing ability can become extremely valuable to you as we go down the road. Okay? Does that sound good? Does that sound like a good agenda for the day? Y'all are pretty quiet this morning. I haven't seen any questions come up except for the original one when we first started, which was having a sound issue. So then we'll get into some tips and tricks and things that we normally do. Make sure that we've got all your questions answered as we get ready to move on. Okay? Y'all are being very quiet today. So now I'm going to switch screens. Give me just a moment to make the switch here. Let me make sure I've got the right one. Yes, I do. Let's switch over to here. All right, let's take a look at this. This is the curved text up here. You find the curved text right here. And this is the curved text. But before I get into that, let me take a look over here. I just want you to see, we're at the template mode. Can you see are you seeing the template mode now? You should see my template dashboard. Let me check to make sure. Yes. Now take a look at this. I just want you to see this. to underscore what I was talking about a minute ago. When you take a look at this, you'll see that there are a number of things here that are extremely helpful. And with a tiny bit of modification, you would be able to take those and use them in your design services to other people. This is a big thing right here. This template, I was really impressed with this because this really helps people in nonprofits. What happens is, and my hometown was flooded one time, and they get and the shelters get flooded with clothes, and people don't have anything. You know, there's only so many clothes that people need, but there's a huge need for cash. And so I thought that was a very timely template and very helpful. And so lots of stuff here that's really simple for you to take and modify and design. I'm looking here to see where we're at. All right. And so there's just some really cool stuff in here. Now, I want to give you one more thing while we're looking at the templates. And that is, as I look down through this, I'm not a designer. I don't have Usign for design. I have Usign, and I've told you this frequently. My purpose is I'm a problem solver, and I see design as a problem that needs to be solved. How do I illustrate this? How do I visualize this? How do I make this so that it communicates clearly to other people? One of the ways you do that is with infographics, and we'll talk about infographics in just a minute. But there is not a YouTube link because I want to interrupt here for a second. There's not a YouTube link now because we're using a different platform. The trouble that we had with the other platform was the connection with YouTube. And so that's the real issue, Ken. And if for some reason you're not able to connect, it's not coming from my end and it's not coming from the platform because I'm getting great stats from the platform. So if that's an issue, the great news is that we're able to get the replay, clip the front dead airspace off of that now. We couldn't do that in the past. Now we can clip that dead airspace off before we upload it to YouTube. And when we upload it to YouTube, you'll not be able to see this is not a demio issue, and it is not an issue on my end because I got an incredible lightning fast internet speed, and that's not where the issue is coming from. I understand what you're saying, but there is not an alternative to demio. We had used other alternatives, and we kept having fails with it. And so we've arrived here on purpose because this is the best that we can do. I apologize that we want the experience to be the best that it can possibly be, but we were having a terrible experience with other platforms. And so as Gloria's saying, it's usually your internet connection is creating hiccups, and that's usually what happens because we've really not experienced any problem with this platform. Okay, let's move on. When I look at these templates, what I get is I get this great reminder of things that I think can be extremely helpful to me. These are issues. These are very timely issues. These are things that will help me. You see these templates about the disaster relief, and those are important. But remember this. I mean, could you do a top 5 web design info graphic? Could you do a top 5 web design? And then you start finding additional things that you can offer with this. Just the image itself is not going to be something that you can market very easily, but the thing that's behind it can be extremely important. And so I scroll through these templates frequently to come up with marketing ideas. And how many of you, let me ask you this question. How many of you are using the templates to come up with marketing ideas? I'm just curious. Are you using the templates to come up with marketing ideas? Are you using the templates to say, oh man, I never thought about that. That's something that I could do. Gene says he is. Linda says, unfortunately, no, but this is helpful. I want to help you with that. I think that this is a great opportunity for you to take the templates and come up with some amazing ideas and marketing tools and things that you can do. You know, when you think about this, if you, and it's not, I'm going to give you a little secret here. Okay, top 8 UI designs. Okay, so the user interface, it's not hard. You can go to you can Google that. You can come up with 3 over here and 7 over there and 9 over here, and you can take those and you can put them together, and you can create a little infographic with that, or you could create a simple ebook or a checklist or something like that, and then take this. Now you've got a marketing piece, a tripwire, something that you can give your clients or something you can give potential clients and get them to engage with you about how they might be able to get you to do a design for them. Does that make good sense to everybody? Y'all have asked us for marketing help, and this is something that I've done this since day one. I fell in love with these templates because they can really be helpful. So here's an example. Let me pull this up here so you can see it. Start a blog in 10 easy steps. Man, you can find about 100, well, I'm just making up a number, so I'm not going to do that. But you can find all kinds of ways to and you can take the top 10 easiest steps to create a blog and where to host it, what to name it, how to find content. And you can put those things in something. And then you've got a marketing tool that you can use. And hopefully that's helpful to you. I've done this since the day I started with Usign. I thought, you guys are really helping me. You're really helping me. And here is a great example of this. Can you all see the infographic I have up here? I want you to be able to see this infographic. All right, let me make sure. All right, in this infographic right here, let me go up here to the top. This infographic is 5 steps to create an awesome infographic. Do you notice something about this infographic? This is not just Latin gibberish. This is quality information. And these are exactly the 5 steps that you would use to build an awesome infographic. And so I look at these and I go, man, somebody just gave me in a single template something that I would have had to gone and paid for in a piece of PLR or whatever, wherever I would have bought a course, something, and it's right here inside this template. How valuable is that? I mean, I look at this as this is more than worth the cost of being a member of the Template Club. I mean, when you think about just hidden in here occasionally are some of the greatest marketing tips that you'll get. Remember, Usign knows how to market. And so when their team puts together an infographic like this, it's valuable stuff. It's not just a template that you take and modify. I mean, I got this sucker printed out and it's on my wall. This is how I do it. So this is a great tool. The Template Club becomes a great tool for you to be able to use to develop your marketing skills. And this is just one. Like I said, this is what I'm calling Templateology. And you're getting an opportunity to see just how cool this really is. And so here it is. You know, these are the 5 steps right here. And I find them extremely beneficial. Okay. Now, while we're here, there's one more thing I want to give you. Do you see this template right here? This is an infographic template. It's a little bit different layout. It's not a long, skinny one. It's 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, so it's a nice square box. And this one is just a template. But I see something here that I got to have, And what I see here that I just have to have. Jay's saying, I never thought about the templates for ideas. Thanks for the direction. I saw this and I thought, I bet I've been doing this forever. And I bet nobody else is doing that. So this is something I just really felt like we needed to talk about this morning because I think there's huge value here. Now, I saw something when I looked at this, I go, I got to have that. Now, realize that's not really good English, but it really makes a lot of sense. Do you see these people right here? I can use that. That's something that I could use. Do you see this little setup right here? That's something that I could use. And so when I look at this, I'm going, man, that's powerful stuff. So how about if I do this? How about if I save that and keep that saved as a group? So I got all these people over here. If you'll notice, these are one at a time. How would you like to put those in there and size them like that? Oh, man, I don't really want to go through that. So what I did was I went in and saved them as a group. I saved them, and now I have them right here. How cool is that? Somebody else went to all the work to do this, and I got a chance to take advantage of it because I had the templates. Does that make good sense? I mean, I can find lots of places where I'm going to be able to use this. I can find lots of places I'm going to use it. And because I have lots of places where I could use that, I may want to make it bigger. I might want to make it smaller. I might want to change the colors. I might want to make it 4 out of 6 or whatever I want to do with it. I now have the ability to be able to do that. And because I saved them as a group. And instead of having to go in and duplicate and adjust and move them around, remember, time is money. And so if I'm marketing my skills and abilities to somebody else, I have to find as many shortcuts as I possibly can. And this is a great place to be able to come up with shortcuts. Just find a template that has exactly what you're looking for, just like this did. Has what I'm looking for. I want to do this. This is something I do all the time because I've been known as the triangle guy. And so I'm going to save this triangle and I can use it. And I will take that triangle at a later date and I will actually take that triangle and use it for something else. You know, and when you look over here, you can change the color of that. You can add a shadow to the back of it, and you can do those things. This is how you take those templates and make them work for you. Okay. The grouping feature becomes one of the greatest things that there is. Now, Lisa's asking a great question. If you save as a group, can you change the color individually? Now, what you do in this particular case, and I'm going to have to clear my canvas here, which I can do now. I'm going to clear this canvas, and I'm going to grab this group, and I'm going to bring it in here. All right, I'll make it a lot bigger so it's easier to see. And I ungroup it. Now I can change the color individually. So that's your question right there. Yes. Once I have brought that in as a group, then I can ungroup it and I can change them individually. Just as Gloria said right there. I'm checking the questions here to make sure, because now we're getting questions. Great question, Gene, and the answer to that question is yes. So if you purchase the Template Club today, you will have access to all 3,130 templates. You'll have them immediately. And we've been adding at about the pace of 100 a month. So yes, and like I said, they become very timely. When you take a look at these, the templates become very, very timely. When Pokemon was a big craze, we had Pokemon templates. When Thanksgiving comes close, we'll have Thanksgiving templates. So just try to put new stuff in all the time, and then every once in a while, something really cool will come along. Like one of the things that we do in the business that we have is we use table tents and we provide them for restaurants and places where people come in and sit, and we can put QR codes on them. We can put website addresses on them. We can put stuff on them. And when you just type in table tents, look at all the table tent menus that you have here. Now, how cool is that? Now you've got table tent templates that you can actually take, modify, use, and create your own with that. But just having the layout and the design was extremely helpful. Okay. Yeah, we even did the pocketing training. That's correct. The fact is that this template club is a reminder to me of just how timely Usign tries to be in everything that they do. Do we hit it perfect every time? No, but try to be as timely as possible with the stuff that's going on so that we give the greatest value to the most people possible. Here's a great example of this going on right now. These are very, very helpful and very useful, very beneficial. But when you have, and you can take this graphic, save it as a group, which is what we just did a minute ago. Save it as a group, and then you can take the table tents, flip that upside down, and do with it what you need to do there, and create a piece that would be helpful. Okay, Frank. Gloria gave the details on the template club. It should be available right there. Yeah, there you go. Good job. Thank you, Gloria. Appreciate that. All right. So I just wanted you to see that because I think this is really important. I think it's something that we miss. I think we forget that we can grab these designs and use them, modify them, create whatever we want to do with them. We forget that sometimes the Usign team buries huge amounts of information in a template someplace. And this is one example of that. I'll give you a couple of other examples in the weeks to come as I pursue what I'm calling templateology. Okay, now let's go back over here, and I want to show you from this template. Make sure we don't have any questions. All right. And this is using curved text, okay? And the question gets asked about curved text every single time, and these special text gets included every time. So we're going to take just a little bit of time. We're going to talk about curved text. Now you'll notice this particular curved text piece that I have here, because of the size of the text, it's not a perfect 180 degrees across here. I can actually rotate this. Now I'm going to have to move it over, but I've now got that so that it fits. Now you have to play with this. This is not a perfect science. It's not a click and snap and all of that. This takes a little bit of skill, takes a little bit of time. And when you click over here, you pull up the curve. The first thing you do is you grab the curved text. That's the first thing that you do. And when you have the curved text on, what you do is you find all of the information right here. This is where you do this. If I could spell. Now, you'll notice that crowds that text pretty tight, okay? So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to make my text a little bit smaller until it starts to fit comfortably, okay? And there it is. And so I can do that. And I can shift this around so that it fits where I want it to fit. You'll have to reposition that. And I'll tell you this, if you're doing this off of the top of that ball, you're going to have to play with it pretty tight, okay? If you move it to the inside of the ball, it's not quite as critical. But when you're trying to make it right on the top of the line, then you're going to have to play with the pieces just a tiny bit in order to make it fit. And so there's a little skill that's involved in it. But I've made this 180 degrees. I could have rotated this and made it 90, just like that. Now, in order to do that, I've got too much text. But there is a 90-degree piece done like that. Okay? So You can grab the corners here. You can adjust this just like you do with others. All right. May have to do this just a tiny bit to make that fit. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right. So that's your curved text. Are there questions about that? Do you understand? Now, some of the fonts work better than others. And so you may not be happy with the font that you have. You might have said, okay, I want to use this font. Well, that just doesn't look right when you do that. So you're going to have to play with the fonts a little bit to make sure that you find a comfort level and a place where you're happy with that at. But as we have more and more images that allow for circles, this is going to become very, very important. All right. So yes, I played with that just a little bit. This is a tool that you will find yourself using more in the days to come. So make sure that you develop the skills of knowing how and where to position this so that it fits comfortably doing what you want to do with it. All right. And again, you can use your standard rotation tools, all of those kinds of things. The only other thing I haven't talked about with this, and I've got it jacked up now because I grabbed that corner and pulled it around here. You're going to have to, as you play with your size here, it helps you to fit the curve. Does that make sense? Are y'all following with me? The best way to do this is for you just to use it. The save text does not work for curved text. All right. You can take this, you can duplicate this, which is the question that we were just asked. And now I can flip it. All right. And I can move this around just like that. It's a great question. I can take this and I can play with the text direction here and get the text to go in other directions, okay? Oop. I don't know what happened there. All right, does that make sense? Yes, Gloria is correct. You can save it in a group, but you have to have more than one element in order to save something. Peter's asking to go all the way around. When you play with this, what you'll discover is that there's a comfortable range. I know that doesn't make good sense, but there's a comfortable range. And so I can grab this, I can go to 360, but the text doesn't look right, okay? So I would have to add text. To make it look better. And by adding text to make it look better, it looks better, right? Does that make sense? So yes, I can do that. Yes, you can click and drag your mouse to save everything in an area like Gloria is saying right here. Okay, I can click, hold down the shift key, I can click and, well, if I can get it right here. Pull my face back out here. Got my text. Pull that to the front. And when I hold the shift key down, I can multiply those things. I can keep them together. All right. Move that back up there where it goes. Ungroup it. Well, I said I was going to ungroup it and pull this down here. So yes, if you have enough text, you can make it comfortable like that. You can also duplicate it, flip it. There's a lot of things that you can do with that curved text tool. It's an incredibly powerful tool, a tool that we just haven't. I've mentioned and I've shown it a time or two. Just something that we hadn't spent some dedicated time to since it came out, and so I thought it would be good for us to jump in and do something with it right now. Okay. Are there any other questions before we talk about the next piece? Yeah, I had an element in the background, so it didn't help me. You're correct, Gloria. All right, let's do this then. Let's get rid of all of this. And let's grab this text right here because that was kind of cool. Got a nice little shadow on there. Now, what I can do with this is I can go up here because the question was asked, can you go over the save tool again? So here's the save tool. See the little save, you see the little disk button right there? That is the traditional icon for saving something. And so when I click on that, I've now saved that font. So I go over here to my basic text, scroll down to the bottom, and there's that font right there. Now, if I needed to have that at a particular angle for something, for whatever reason, I needed to have it at a particular angle. And this is where you can be very helpful to somebody who wants to brand all of their images, or wants to brand all of their documents, or wants to brand all of the stuff that they have on their website or their Facebook page or whatever. They want to brand it, and they want this to be at a particular angle. And so you set that at exactly the angle that they want. And then you go over here and you save it. You scroll down to the bottom, and notice it does not appear at that angle, but it is. So you can actually save the angle as well. Does that make sense? Yes. The problem was I had a graphic in the background. Yeah, that's so. Let's address that. I can't say the problem that the reason why I can't save this is because I can't grab on here and drag it because it drags the image. All right. The good thing is it drags the image. The bad thing is it drags the image. So if I want to save all of that, get rid of your background image. Now I've got it. Okay. And I can hold down my shift key. I can drag this and I can save it all. And then the group button comes up. I can save it as a group. I'll go back over to my graphics, go to groups, and there it is. Okay. So yes, you've got to get that background image off of there before you can do what I was trying to do. And as, who said that? Where do you save it? Oh, Jeffrey said that what I did was what he had experienced. And yeah, that's the problem. Just get rid of your background image. So if you're using a background image, and here's what you can do, okay? You can say that background image, you just delete it and then undelete. All right? Do and undo, and it will come back. So let's put that back over there, see if we can make that work. All right? This is a background, so I'll put a background in. But when I put a background in, and don't click on pattern because it'll drive you crazy. But when I put a background in, and if you'll notice, that pattern background stays, and you want to get rid of that. You say, oh man, that drives me crazy. We'll go over here and click on the background solid. Click on that as transparent, it'll get rid of it. Okay? That'll help you because this is pulling this in as an image. Okay, so I could do this. Let's see if this will work. I can take that image, I can delete it. I can save this as a group. Now, I got a problem and I can't undo without clicking on image, but I undid and the background image came back. So I could delete it, do what I needed to do to save my group, and then I can undo, and the background will come back. Does that make good sense? So, David, did you catch that? Do I need to answer that question again? Where do you go to save it? Yeah, I like the Beatles reference there, Pete. That's pretty cool. Okay, we'll do this one more time. This I save that text by going right here. I go up when you click on a text image. All right, when you click on a text, I shouldn't say a text image. When you click on a text and not an image, this text button comes up. Next to the text button is this little. It looks like the old floppy disk used to look. Well, that's the universal icon for saving something. So I'm going to save that. And when I save it, it saved it as a text because it's a text, right? So I go back over here to basic, and it has now put that text down here at the bottom. This just does these in the order that they were saved. And the reason why you see so many in here with some of the things are duplicates is because I've done this multiple times in this webinar. But that's okay. We do that on purpose. This is your webinar. This is for your benefit. And you can, and so that's what we're doing here, is trying to help you to develop those skills so that you can get good at what you do, because that's what we want you to do. All right. Now, I could never remember what that text was named. I could never remember what this font is. I would have never guessed it from that. So I saved it, so that when I scroll down here, I find it. Cool, that's what I want. Yeah, see that? Now I can save it. I can edit it. I can change the color of it. I can do with it whatever I want to do. But I have it. So I'm not trying to remember what was that font called again, because I've saved it as a saved text. Okay, great question, David. And we're going to get into the questions now. I think we've addressed everything, so let's get into the questions now. All right. Over here in the background, if I want to remove the back, this is an image, all right? That's an image that I pulled in to create the background out of. Now, if I want to remove a background that I have made a colored background, let's say we've got this as a blue background here. I'll just get rid of this. I've saved that as a blue background, and I want to get rid of the background, click on transparent, and it does that. If I have done what I did earlier, and that was click on a pattern, it'll save a pattern in the background, and it just saves it. I don't know why, but it does. Just that's what it does, and so you find a way to solve it. The way you solve it is you click on transparent, it goes away. All right. Does that help answer that question? Now, the t-shirt design. Okay. Let's do this, because this is a place where your templates will be helpful to you. So let's go over here and we'll put in T as a design. And I highly recommend that you do this. If you're going to create a t-shirt design, that you do this, okay? Start with a pre-existing template. Pulls that template in, it's the right size, everything that you need is right there, okay? And it's going to save that. Now, can you see how this background looks right here? That is actually a transparent background. If I click off of that, it gives me a white background. If I click on it, it gives me a transparent background. So now I can take all of this stuff, like we did earlier, delete that, and I can start over again from scratch. But but it's the right size for a t-shirt, So let's put something in here. We'll grab my tribe text here that I like. We'll grab that. Let's put a graphic with it just so it looks cool. And now that's on a transparent background. Who asked that question? Yes, the checkered background is what. If you have 3,300, or if you have 3,100 templates, then you'll know you're a member of the template club. If you have like 100, then you are not a member of the template club. Okay, so now we have this T-shirt design. I click on the preview button; it'll show me what that's going to look like in all of the Teespring colors. Okay, I get an idea what that's going to look like. Don't save it there because then you end up with an image of a T-shirt. But this is already pre-designed. It's got the right DPI, so it prints well for a T-shirt. Okay. Are there any other questions about that? Because this is an important question. This is a place where people have done really well with T-shirts. Okay. That is a really good idea, Carol. What I have done in the past, and it's one of the reasons why I go through and I spend a couple of hours reading everything that's been posted for the last 5 or 6 weeks. But if you will do that, what Carol's asking, Gloria, is if we could grab those, if she could send that, if she'll send it to you, and we can make them part of the topic for our webinar. And I think that would be really helpful. How can image backgrounds be removed? David, that's a great question. We have the best background removal tool in the marketplace. I just have 1 minute left in the webinar. So if you will promise to be here next week, we'll talk about background removal. Okay? Because we do, and if you'll look in the group, Rose wrote an excellent article on 4 things that you never thought about doing with a background removal tool, in which you get a chance to see some of the power of that tool. Okay? So I'd highly recommend that you do that, but we will address that next week because that comes up almost every time, and it almost always comes up at the end. Yeah, that's true. Gloria is saying that we will be glad to do that, and I think it's a great idea. I've encouraged you in the past to, if you have questions, to drop them in the group, but this is a great way to do that, and that gives us a chance to be. If Irma does, bless your heart, David, you're killing me. I understand, and yeah. All right. I so appreciate you all coming on today. We've got to wrap this up, but we will do that. If you will send Gloria a note and say, this is something I'm struggling with, can we address it in the webinar? Absolutely. But if we get inundated with things, and we'll try to group them together as best we can. Okay. So y'all, I really appreciate you coming in today. I appreciate your time and attention. Your questions have been excellent. All the stuff that you've said and commented has been wonderful. We really appreciate you. Our audience means everything to us. Gloria and I always spend some time talking about the webinar, following the webinar, to see how we can make it better for the next time. And so I appreciate your comments and all that you've done. Look forward to next week. You all be safe this week. This is a really, really important time for you to take care of yourself. All right? Because we want to see you back here soon. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it.